guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to share a different type of video that I don't think I have done before, to share books that I have read. One thing about me, I used to love reading growing up, and then I think once I was getting into college, I was just kind of occupied with obviously reading my boring textbooks and doing things like that. So I didn't put aside time for reading books that I genuinely enjoyed. And then, I don't know, being out of college the past couple years, I kind of just was more so focused on social media and doing things like that. I think honestly what really got me back into it is that I follow this one librarian on TikTok. Her name is Meet Me in the Media Center. And I was just like, I love her content, and it just made me miss reading so much. I want to say I started following her within the last year. I was kind of set on, I want to go to the library. And I will say I still have not gone. I don't really know why, actually. I think I want to just order a book off of Amazon and then have it here. Not really have to go search for one necessarily, kind of like, and they don't have it. Now, I have read tons of books, but I wanted to share books that I have read within the last year, or honestly just this year. For the past couple months, I kind of took a break just because I was kind of like not impressed with a lot of these books, I will admit. Even though I'm sharing them because I want to talk about them and kind of give my review and discuss them, they were a good read. None of these are books, respectfully, that I think I would read again. So after I had finished the last one that I had, I was thinking to myself, you know what? Maybe I will start going to the library because I don't want to keep spending money on these books and I don't really like any of them. But then I kind of was just busy and I wasn't making time for that. Then I ended up just buying 2 more recently. These are all the books that I have read. So I think there's 7 of them that I've read this year. I think Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter maybe was the first one I read. I don't know. It don't really matter. I do kind of want to give spoilers so then you can understand why maybe I wasn't crazy about the book. I'm going to try not to give away too much just in case maybe you want to read it, but I'm not sure how I want to go about this. Okay, but I'll read the back of it. It's been more than 20 years since Claire and Lydia last spoke. Claire is the glamorous trophy wife. Lydia, a single mother dating an ex-con, struggles to make ends meet. Neither has recovered from the disappearance of their sister Julia 2 decades earlier, and the shocking murder of Claire's husband brings the horror and heartbreak of the past roaring back into their lives. The vanishing of a teenage girl and the killing of a middle-aged man almost a quarter century apart, what could connect them? As they form a truce, the surviving sisters unearth the secrets that destroyed their family all those years ago and find the astonishing truth where they least expected it. I'm sorry, I have to give a spoiler, so maybe skip ahead. I'll put the time where I stop talking about the spoiler, okay, so I don't ruin the book for you. I did not like this book. The type of books that I like would be something similar to this, where it's kind of a murder mystery, it's a mystery, it's a thriller, something like that. I used to love, when I was a teenager, the whole cliche love stories, so that's why I had the Nicholas Sparks book, because he was my favorite author growing up. I think I've kind of grown out of that, though. Now, this book kind of disgusted me, just because the girl's husband that died, it was pretty much a setup. He didn't actually die, and he turned out to be a creep, a weirdo. It just got very disgusting in the end. I was reading about what people thought of this book on Reddit, and some people said that they were just disgusted by it. They stopped reading it. The one person I think said they left it in a bathroom. I didn't mind it at first, but it kind of starts mentioning sort of, what is the appropriate term I could use for YouTube? It's like the abusive kind. I don't know what the term is. I don't even know what I want to do with this book. I would definitely not read it again. If I had to give it a rating, it was okay at some parts, but I think once the girls found out what this husband was really doing, I would not recommend this book at all. I'm sorry. Nicholas Sparks, Counting Miracles. Nicholas Sparks, you already pretty much know. It's always going to be a love story between girl and guy and everything. So Tanner Hughes was raised by his grandparents, following his grandfather's military footsteps to become an Army Ranger. His whole life has been spent abroad, but when his grandmother passes away, her last words to him are "Find where you belong." She also drops a bombshell telling him the name of the father he never knew and where to find him. Tanner is due to his next posting soon, but his curiosity is piqued and he sets out for North Carolina to ask around. He's been in town less than 24 hours when he meets Caitlin, a doctor and single mom. They both feel an immediate connection. They get together. Meanwhile, 83-year-old Jasper lives alone in a cabin bordering a national forest with his old dog. He lives quietly, haunted by a tragic accident that took place decades before. When he hears rumors that a white deer has been spotted in the forest, a creature of legend that inspired his father and grandfather, he becomes obsessed with protecting the deer. As these characters' fates orbit closer together, none of them is expecting a miracle, but that may be exactly what is about to alter their futures forever. 16-year-old me, I would have loved this book, but like I said, I just don't think I'm crazy about it anymore. And I think with Nicholas Sparks, I will probably still say he was my favorite author because I did genuinely love his books growing up. But it's always, you know what you're gonna get. And I think probably every book he has, it's always based in North Carolina. That's pretty much what you can expect from this if you've read one of his books. Obviously, it's not the same, but there are similar qualities. I would give that book like a 5 out of 10. Next was The Inheritance Games. I have seen this book so much on TikTok, and I was just kind of intrigued just because of everybody else seeming to really like it. Avery Grams has a plan for a better future, survive high school, win a scholarship, and get out. But her luck changes in an instant when billionaire Tobias dies and leaves her virtually his entire fortune. The only catch, she must move into his mansion full of secret passages, riddles, and codes. Unfortunately, the house is also occupied by the family that was disinherited. This includes the 4 Hawthorne grandsons. The one grandson is convinced that Avery is a con woman and he's determined to take her down, but his brother Jameson views her as the grandfather's last hurrah, a twisted riddle, a puzzle to be solved. There are more in the series, but I did not read them. And I do think this book is better fit for middle schoolers, and that's probably who it's really meant for, but I don't know, so many people seem to really like it. And I thought it was kind of interesting because I wanted to know why this random old man, what his connection was to the main character and why he was just going to give her all this money. So that's what kept me intrigued and wanting to get to the end of that. And then the reason for it, it was just like a coincidence, honestly. So I thought maybe it was like the long lost granddaughter or something of that nature, but yeah, no. And then something that really kind of drove me crazy, I did talk about this on TikTok. It's on the author more so. She's talking about one of these brothers. There's Grayson Hawthorne, Jameson Hawthorne, and then 2 other ones. I'm not going to say every single time that the author was writing talking about the brothers, they would have to write first name Hawthorne. And not one issue to Tobias Hawthorne. I didn't belong here in this world, not at a party like this, not sitting beside Grayson Hawthorne. It just got annoying. Like, I know it's something so weird and dumb to complain about, but it's just like, okay, we know that he is one of the brothers. You don't have to keep putting the last name. That wasn't the reason I didn't like the book, obviously. I just felt it was kind of leading up to pretty much a very kind of boring ending. It was kind of a fun house, almost, it seemed like, of riddles, and truthfully, the thing that was hard too to kind of understand was just like the layout of this mansion just kind of seemed unbelievable in a fascinating way, but I'm just like, it's hard to imagine what this main character was really experiencing. I would give this probably like a 4 out of 10. Next up is The Girl Who Was Taken by Charlie Dunlea. On the back, it says, the night they go missing, high school seniors Nicole and Megan are at a beach party in their small town in North Carolina. Police launch a massive search, but hope is almost lost until Megan escapes from a bunker deep in the woods. A year later, the best-selling account of her ordeal has made Megan a celebrity, but Nicole is still missing. Nicole's older sister, Livia, a fellow in forensic pathology, expects that one day soon Nicole's body will be found and her sister's fate determined. Instead, the first clue comes from another body, that of a young man connected to Nicole's past. Livia reaches out to Megan to learn more about that fateful night. Other girls have disappeared, and she's sure the cases are connected. Megan knows more than she revealed in her book. Flashes of memory are pointing to something more monstrous than she described. The deeper she and Livia dig, the more they realize that sometimes true terror lies in finding exactly what you've been looking for. Now, this was one of the better books that I did read. I liked the kind of thriller, mystery. You weren't really sure who was going to be responsible. I was a little disappointed because I will say I was hoping for a somewhat happy ending in this book in terms of what happens to the characters, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So that was like the one thing I was hoping for, but it was good. I was getting kind of antsy though because I just wanted to know already who done it pretty much. But I would give this more of a higher rating, like a 7 out of 10. I did enjoy this for the most part. My mom had got this for me, and this was If We Ever Meet Again by Anna Wong. Now, this was kind of your cliche love story. 19-year-old Farah is going to fall in love for the first time during her year abroad in Shanghai. She's sure of it. The only problem, her would-be leading man is her new friend's boyfriend. There's nothing worse than being in love with someone you can't have, or at least she thinks it's love. If that's true, why can't she stop fantasizing about someone else, specifically the cocky blonde athlete with the world's biggest ego and greatest dimples? Blake Ryan was a college football star who shocked the sports world when he quit after his third national championship. Instead of dealing with the fallout, he escapes to Shanghai where he vows to keep life simple. No football, no commitments, no romance. They obviously get together. Can their relationship survive the test, or is it just not meant to be? Now, here is your spoiler coming in 3, 2, 1 on why I did not like this book. He cheated. I don't care. Immediately lost interest. I don't even think they were broken up. I think it was over winter break, I'm pretty sure. He got back with an ex-girlfriend for one night, and their love story does continue in another book, but I don't, because maybe I would have read it, but the fact that he cheated, I don't condone it. I don't like it. I know when it comes to cheating in real life, people have different opinions about it. I feel a very type of way towards it. The author didn't really need to do that, honestly. This one I would give probably a 4 out of 10. I'm picky, y'all, you know. It gotta be a good book for me to be giving y'all a high rating. Next up was The Inmate by Frida McFadden. Oh, this author has tons of books. As a new nurse practitioner at a maximum security prison, Brooke is taught 3 crucial rules. Number 1, treat all prisoners with respect, never reveal any personal info, and never become too friendly with inmates. But nobody knows that Brooke has already broken the rules. Nobody knows about her inmate connection to Shane, one of the most notorious and dangerous inmates. They don't know that Shane was Brooke's high school sweetheart, the star quarterback, the golden boy who's serving a life sentence for a series of murders. Or that Brooke's testimony was what put him there. But Shane knows. He knows more than anyone, and he will never forget. Now, this book, I was rooting for Shane, okay? Because I was thinking maybe Brooke got this wrong. And honestly, it was pointing to that, because if I remember correctly, it was when obviously they were in high school, and I think they were at someone's house, and it was at night, and Brooke like got passed out or got knocked out or something weird happened to her. So she couldn't really fully remember, or she got blindfolded. I don't know. She wasn't able to see who the person was and just thought it was Shane. So I was like, okay, maybe she got it wrong. Maybe, you know, this poor guy has been in prison. Oh no, he needed to stay there. She ended up having a son in this time, but he didn't really know about it until he saw the son. That was obviously his. Now, the crazy thing was, y'all, okay, the son was taking after the father. That's all I'm gonna say, okay? And the son ultimately saved the mom's life. It was kind of insane. I know some people don't really care for this author. I think I kind of want to give her another chance with another book. I sort of did like it, I will say. I would probably give this a higher rating, like a 7 out of 10. This is The Last Letter. Oh my god, this book had me in tears. Okay, so Beckett, if you're reading this, well, you know the last letter drill. You made it. I didn't. Get off the guilt train, because I know if there was any chance you could have saved me, you would have. I need one thing from you. Get out of the army and go to Telluride. My little sister Ella's raising the twins alone. She's too independent and won't accept help easily, but she has lost our grandmother, our parents, and now me. It's too much for anyone to endure. Here's the kicker. There's something else you don't know that's tearing her family apart. She's gonna need help. So if I'm gone, that means I can't be there for Ella. I can't help them, but you can. So I'm begging you to go take care of my sister, my family. Please don't make her go through it alone. Ryan. So Ryan, as stated, was one of the main character's best friends, and then the other main character's brother. He got unalived out on a mission. Beckett is the main male character, and then Ella is the main female. Now, this isn't really like a spoiler at all, because you do find out about this pretty soon, that one of Ella's kids has cancer, and it is just so upsetting to read, and like I couldn't even imagine. But the ending, I don't even know if I really want to spoil it, because this was like such a big part in this book and what was so upsetting. I like this book because it kind of was that cliche love story, sort of. Beckett, he fully went into that role, and I respect, I know it's kind of weird to say, but like I respected his character so much because he went into their life. One thing I didn't like, and the author kept saying it, was that this would be Beckett saying and thinking, oh, like once Ella finds out my secret, then she won't trust me anymore, she won't love me. And his secret is just that he was in the same unit, knew her brother. Like he wasn't making that known at first. What also was playing into this was that Beckett and Ella were actually writing each other when he was in the army, but he wasn't using his real name. He was using like his call name or his nickname. She didn't know the whole time she was talking to Beckett and was like in love with him through writing letters. And then she meets Beckett in person, and he doesn't say like, hey, I'm who you've been talking to. He just plays it off as, oh, I knew your brother, and that's about it. But anyways, eventually she finds out, and that's a whole thing because she feels like she can't really trust him anymore. Eventually she gets over it, and I want to say they lived happily ever after, but oh my god. I won't spoil it for you guys, but I know I mentioned about the daughter having cancer. She actually goes through chemo and all the radiation, the whole process, and she ends up beating the cancer. So that was the one happy thing about that. I would give this a higher rating. I would give, even though it broke my heart, I would give this probably a 7.5 out of 10. The last book that I had read was The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This was another book where it was a little, I'm not gonna say disgusting because it wasn't gross like that, but a little disturbing and kind of, I want to say like scary, sort of. So Casey Fletcher, a recently widowed actress trying to escape a streak of bad press, has retreated to the peace and quiet of her family's lake house in Vermont. Armed with a pair of binoculars, several bottles of bourbon, she passes the time watching Tom and Catherine Royce, the glamorous couple living in the house across the lake. One day on the lake, Casey saves Catherine from drowning, and the two strike up a budding friendship. But the more they get to know each other and the longer Casey watches, it becomes clear that Catherine and Tom's marriage isn't as perfect as it appears. When Catherine suddenly vanishes, Casey immediately suspects Tom of foul play. What she doesn't realize is that there's more to the story than meets the eye, and that shocking secrets can lurk beneath the most placid of surfaces. This book was one that was just like, it really ain't no way. And I'm also kind of questioning life. Like, can this really happen? Spoilers, here we go. Tom and Catherine were fighting, and there was another house that was unoccupied at the time, and for whatever reason, and I think Casey had followed Tom to that house and found that Catherine was there and she was alive and everything. So she rescues Catherine, but it was just some crazy, I don't even know what word to use to describe what this experience was. It was almost like a possessive, you know how like, a dark passenger. That is the term I want to use. What show is Vampire Diaries, where they could have a dark passenger maybe, or like enter someone's body? That was what it was giving. It was pretty good. So I will give this one a 7.6 out of 10. All right, I think this is the highest rated one. The last two books that I got today, so I haven't started them. My first one is As Old as Time. This is part of the whole Disney Twisted Tale books, where they kind of give an alternate storyline. What if Belle's mother cursed the beast? Now, I'll be honest, I really don't think I ever watched Beauty and the Beast, but I do love Belle as a princess. I think she's so gorgeous and beautiful and love her. It's kind of hard to read the font on the back. I don't really like this dark of a color, and then the font is too dark. Had it been the brighter one on the front, maybe, but Belle is a lot of things. Smart, resourceful, restless. She longs to escape her poor town for good. She wants to explore the world despite her father's reluctance to leave their little cottage in case Belle's mother returns, a mother she barely remembers. Belle also happens to be the captive of a terrifying, angry beast, and that is her primary concern. But when Belle touches the beast's enchanted rose, intriguing images flood her mind, images of the mother she believes she would never see again. Stranger still, she sees that her mother is none other than the beautiful enchantress who cursed the beast, his castle, and all of its inhabitants. Shocked and confused, Belle and the Beast must work together to unravel a dark mystery about their families that is 21 years in the making. I don't know, I thought this was kind of different. There is one for Moana coming out. I think the release date is September 2nd, so it might be out already by the time this video gets posted. I've seen that these books seem to have pretty good ratings, but honestly, so did all these other books I have over here, and some of them I really didn't care for. And then this book, I was just kind of looking for books, and I saw that this one was recommended by Reese Witherspoon, which I guess she has a book club. I don't really follow her. But this is Something in the Water by Catherine Steadman. If you could make one simple choice that would change your life forever, would you? Aaron is a documentary filmmaker on the brink of a professional breakthrough. Mark, a handsome investment banker with big plans. Passionately in love, they embark on a dream honeymoon to the tropical island of Bora Bora, where they enjoy the sun, the sand, and each other. Then, while scuba diving in the crystal blue sea, they find something in the water. It gives reviews on the back from Reese and New York Times and everything, and one of the authors that I was reading here even said that this was thrilling and thought-provoking. So, I like a little thriller, and Bora Bora, okay. It sounds interesting. We'll see. Hopefully I like it. I think I'm going to start off, though, for my next book will be As Old as Time. Those were just some books that I have read over the past couple months, and let me know if you guys have read any of these books and what your thoughts were as well. And maybe I will continue doing videos like this if you guys maybe like this. If not, that's okay. We're just trying things out over here. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.